Good evening, everybody. Hello. You're going to get me picture in picture here for just a second. It is Tuesday. I'll get the day right this week. October 11th, 2022, and this is the second stitch with me for the old-fashioned Christmas SAL. I hope that's what everyone is here for. No card making tonight. Please ignore the mess behind me. I literally took everything that was here, moved it back there because I need to move it back after a bit. Hello. I'm going to address a couple questions I saw in the chat as I was kind of trying to finish up some stuff. No, you don't have to be stitching the same thing as what I'm stitching or what a lot of us are stitching to hang out. Oh, I already forgot the second question. That's awesome. Oh, what am I going to finish this on? I am working with Chantal's 141 design, and she is working up something hopefully soon. I definitely need to check in with her and see that. She's kind of been busy. She has a mystery stitch along going on her channel, but she is designing something that you can order from her. They're fairly inexpensive finishing pieces. It's going to be a flat finish, not a pillow or anything this time, but it's going to be pretty cool, I think. I'm super, super excited, and I will show you from receiving the item to finishing how I finish it. So hopefully that'll give you a little inspiration. I do have some other projects where I've used some of her backers coming soon, as soon as I can get to it. Sleepless for way too long said, oh my goodness, I forgot I had the video set up for slow playback and I sounded so odd. I bet I sounded a little special. Oh my goodness, how funny. Oh, that's so funny. If I have missed anyone's questions, ask again and I will check. Yeah, we got squeaking going on. I swear, you guys, my dogs sleep all day long. I go live and we've got squeaking, we've got click, click nails running across the floor. It's craziness. Anyway, I'm trying not to be too distracted. I'll just give you guys my brief rundown. You probably saw if you saw my Flosstube, you know, Odin, we have had a lot of ick going around our house. Ethan is just not getting better. He has another appointment and another chest x-ray scheduled for this week. I have another appointment tomorrow. I have lots of fun things happening. It's just, you know, it's just that time. Lots of yearly exams happening. So super fun. But I've been stitching. I'm excited about stitching. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you have a question, write question in all caps and then ask your question. That does help it kind of pop out to me a little bit. Carrie says my pup was just zooming back and forth. I swear. He doesn't like that I'm talking to the computer. Like, I think he wonders who I'm talking to and wants to see, and that's a lot of that behavior. Thank you so much, Peggy, for praying for Ethan. Me too. Susie says, love seeing Odin. He was scratching at me, so I figured, well, it's a good opportunity to show him in my Flosstube. Annual checkup. That's absolutely right, Stephanie. Gotta go get some things examined now. I made that appointment today after that. All good. It's all good. It's important stuff. So it's always better to go have that stuff done. Let me see. Hello. Oh, that's really interesting. Shaman says walking pneumonia can take a long time, and she's had it several times. That's good to know. I will tell you, the doctor, he's actually, I hate to say an actual doctor. He is. I had to take him to like the urgent care clinic because our doctor and all the other doctors were booked the day that I called and I was like, he's not better. But he actually is a doctor there. It was his turn to work in the minor care clinic. We hadn't seen him before. So he's the one who diagnosed Ethan, but we're going to see the doctor we usually see on Thursday. So no one told us that it was going to take a while to heal up or anything like that. And I've been kind of hard on him because we've gone through all these medications. So that's good to know. Maybe I'll stop being difficult. Donna says, question, am I the only one seeing you in two screens? No. Okay. Let me see if I can move that. Oh, I can move it. I have it up there because when I flip the camera around, I thought it would be fun to be able to like see me and see me stitching. It may not work. If we don't like it, you guys just let me know. So let's go ahead. Peekaboos are needed annually. Absolutely, Susie. Absolutely. Oh, it's just been, honestly, it's nothing bad. It's just been a really kind of rough few weeks, but stitching is relaxing, and so I love it. Let's see. Shaman says, I just started playing 28 count tea-dye Irish linen. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Yeah, you're seeing me in two screens on purpose. I just couldn't figure out. I probably could put it back in. See, I can move it around. Wouldn't that be funny? No. All right. I'm going to flip my camera around, and I'm going to first talk about, well, I'll switch it around so we don't see that. There. So now it makes sense, right? I should have probably, I don't know how to flip this one so you could see my work. I wanted to talk really quick about color changes. So I said I would talk about color changes when I figured them out, and I did. I think I got them figured out this week. So first thing, before we get to my reds, because the pattern actually calls for teals, which are beautiful. But I know I've mentioned this, but I'm going to keep mentioning it multiple times. I use a lot of red in my decorating, and I felt red would be a little bit better for me, just in my decor. That's not going to be everybody's case, but for me it was. And so no matter what your decor is, think about that and think about if you want to switch some colors. You absolutely can. It's your cross stitch. I know I said this the other day, but Lori Holt has a great saying, you're the boss of your own quilt and you're the boss of your own cross stitch. You are the boss of your own cross stitch. If you want to change it to green, go for it. Or if you want to switch up your chart, because my friend Shari has switched up her chart a little bit. I don't know that she started stitching it yet, but she showed me what she's going to do. Do that. Make it work for you. Or you can, be mostly like, I am switching colors, but you can be like me and I'm going to stitch it like it is, but I am going to swap out some colors. I never used to do that, and I used to kind of be deterred from using certain charts because I thought I had to stitch it exactly like this. You don't. You do what works for you. So I am going to switch the teal in these two spots to red. Now there is a red in the chart, you can see. But what's funny is I'm going to bring the colors, and I'm going to show you the called for colors for the chart, which I'm keeping. That was a question I received. So these are the colors. I am keeping these colors. I hope my light's good tonight. These are the two colors, and definitely probably because the light is getting dark and stuff. They're kind of a pinky red, maybe I want to say. Joyous in Christ. Yes, I will talk about that here in just a second. Mostly DMC. So I planned on using all DMC, but I have one fancy floss. But I'll talk, like I said, I'll mention that here in just 1 second. These are the colors. I'm going to keep these for peppermints. I'm going to keep these for the little gingham border. I'm going to keep these for the berries in the chart, the hearts right here. Anything that already was red in this chart, I'm going to use the called for colors, which are $8.99 and $3.09. For the two areas that are teal, I picked these two colors here. And how I picked these, I actually went to other Shannon Christine charts, and she had another chart, and forgive me, I did not write it down. But it was another chart where she had a mug, and I looked at the colors, and they were 321 and 3801, and I thought, well, let me see. And I grabbed them, and I laid them out with what I already had, and I liked them. So that is how I picked these two colors. I did start stitching just a tiny bit to see if I liked it before bringing it here to you guys. So I did do a tiny little start here for this week's stitching. I don't always do that, but I really wanted to make sure that I liked these colors, and I do. So again, we're going to be using, or I am using 321 and 3801 for my reds that are swapping out for the teal. I'm going to keep these two colors, the original reds from the chart, for anything else so that we have some nice contrast. Now, my other big change last week when we started stitching, I stitched the border up here, and I talked about kind of some tips and tricks for border stitching. And I stitched with the called for B5200 floss. And yeah, I ended up not liking it. I ripped it out. I had only done this top row. If you saw my Flosstube yesterday, I did talk about it a little bit. I am a huge fan, and this is, whites are a very personal preference. I love Weeks Dye Works whitewash, and so I switched to a fancy floss. You do not need to do that. If you've already stitched a bunch, I would leave it. I had only done this very, very top row. So what I did after the live last week was I stitched the little greenery motif here, and then I stitched maybe down to right about here. And I wasn't loving it at the time. I didn't finish this part. I wasn't loving it, and I went to bed and I slept on it. And I got up the next morning and I thought, what if I just rip out this, just this, we're going to leave that for now. And I stitched with whitewash just to see if I like it. Well, I did. I liked it a lot better. I was having a lot better luck with my floss. So I ended up restitching that. I ripped out the top row and I stitched it. So it was a little extra work this week. It's going to take a little bit more of the fancy floss than it would the DMC, I think, to stitch it that way, just in case you haven't started and you want to. Holly says 321 and 3801. I love those reds. Oh, yay! And Sean says she finally won a giveaway and she won the Altenew stamp timber sets. Yes, yes. Oh, thank you, Susie. I like that boss phrase too, Shimon. I think that that is the perfect way to look at it. So I always mention this in my weekly posts about the SAL. I did this in the Welcome Autumn as well. Do what works for you. There are no rules. If you cannot keep up, I know I've seen several people saying that they're behind. You're not behind. You stitch on your schedule. I did work in one extra week in this SAL, like a catch-up week. I may even need a catch-up week, to be honest. So we shall see. But I'm going to try to work ahead just a little bit because I would like to be able to, you know, get that finish. Well, I have to have that finishing video for you when I promised it. But work as fast or slow as you need to. Just, it should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be a chore. Question. Oh, let me see. My question went away. Sandy says, mug also has a peppermint. Is that too much red? Would the greens work? The greens may work. I don't know. It would have to, I would probably stitch a little bit next to each other. I did consider that with the peppermint, but that's the reason I kept the original colors. They are quite a bit pinker. I don't know if you can see that right here. The peppermints are a lot of white, which I thought would be good next to, if that was the mug. It's a lot of white, but it's a lot of that rose, I shouldn't say pink, kind of a rose color. So I think it's going to look good next to each other. If it doesn't, I may just remove the peppermint. I don't know. I think it'll be okay though. Leanne says, about how many skeins of, I don't know how many, Leanne, it's going to take. That is the only problem. I used an entire skein for the border. So if that gives you any idea, for this entire border, all the way around, all that stitching and back stitching, it took me an entire skein. I have several skeins. So I am keeping track. I am writing down so that I can tell you for sure. I had 2 more skeins here and I ordered 4 more. whitewash is my favorite, so I like to have it on hand. I substitute whitewash for whites and charts all the time. But I am going to keep track so I can tell you exactly. And Carrie says, where do you purchase Weeks floss? I buy mine. If you have cross stitch shop near you, I would try there. I get mine a lot of times, most of the time, from Fat Quarter Shop. And there's a link to Fat Quarter Shop in the description below if you're interested. They have fantastic customer service, and I've had great luck. Most of my supplies come from there. So I'm going to go ahead and let's roll up our fabric and get started. What was Cheryl's? Cheryl didn't like B5200, and so she changed it to DMC white, and she's happy with it. Thank you so much for that suggestion. And somebody else, is it 3865? Is that the other white color from DMC, you guys? Tell me if I said that wrong. Someone in Facebook said that they switched it to that and they loved it as well. So it's a personal preference, because I know some people really, really love B5200, and obviously Shannon probably does. That's what she uses a lot in her charts. But I just really, I don't think that it's for me. I'll leave it there. Yes. Okay, lots of good suggestions in the chat. Thank you guys so much. And I probably did not put it in the description because I forgot. Is it Chai's Stampin' World? 321 and 3801 for red. I'm using them in place of the teal. I am not replacing the red in the chart, and I will fix that when the live is over tonight, because I did forget to write it. I wrote it in my Flosstube video, but I did not write it in this. I may have to. Why are you making so much noise, buddy? Let's shut our blinds too. It like got real dark. Okay, so let's get our camera all set up. Tell me in the chat if you're stitching tonight or if you're just hanging out. So here is my one little tip. Yes, let's see. Sandy switched to DMC white. Oh my gosh. Hold on, everyone. Okay, I'm back. I'm so sorry about teenage children. It's real life here. We got dogs squeaking. We got teenage kids yelling. Awesome. Okay, before I do this, I did want to talk about one little thing. My one suggestion when stitching with lots and lots of white especially, but with red, stitch your white first. So you're going to see, I went ahead and put in the word price from the chart, and then I'll stitch the red around it. And the reason is if you stitch all of the red and do all the fill in for the red first, and then you do the white, you can pick up some of the fiber from the red, and it can kind of, doesn't color the white, but I don't think it looks near as crisp. So I always try to do my white first, and then I will do the rest. Now, I did want to do the box. I wanted to make sure I liked the color, but I just did a little bit, and then I added this. I'll probably add the little bar that goes underneath here, and then I will fill in some more of that. But the other little tip that I wanted to share, just so that I knew my spacing was correct, I wanted to get down here to do some color because I wanted to talk about my color changes. However, I don't want to get off. So I stitched this little bit here, and I just kind of worked my way down enough that I could count over and make sure that I wasn't messing anything up. Let me see. Oh, good. Teenagers are teenagers, and he's not feeling well. You would think he felt great by the show. I think he's playing video games with his friends. No, I don't think. I know. Oh my gosh. Stitching pumpkin spice project, Samantha says. Oh, that sounds so fun. Stitching with coffee beside her, Christine says. Oh, that sounds lovely. Oh, and your daughter's visiting. Oh, Sandy says stitching white first is the best tip I've learned. That is awesome. Shimon says we love it real. Well, you never know what you're going to get here in Nicole's lives. Okay, so I'm just going to start doing, hello, I think what we're going to start doing is red. And well, obviously it's all red, Nicole. Come on now. Get with the program. I am going to, I think, have I done all the dark? I'm going to do the dark red color, which is 321. That is around these letters, because there is 2 shades there. And I am going to do the loop method. If you did not see that last week, I'll thread my next needle on camera and show you. But I have fully embraced the loop method. Everyone who told me I needed to try it was absolutely correct. And then my friend texted me over the weekend, Karen, and she was like, I tried it, and she said, it is life-changing. And I was like, right? Why did we resist so long? Oh, that's so awesome. Marilyn says she's stitching You Are the Boss by Lori Holt. Tara says, question, do you stitch white first with all colors or just specifically red? Generally, all colors, but specifically red. If you guys follow me for card making and stuff, you're going to know this. I feel like red is always just kind of a booger. And so it's kind of been, I mean, it just bleeds into everything when you're coloring with markers. And I feel like it's the same with stitching. So but I do it with most colors, but always red. In fact, I started this and I was starting to do some fill-in when I was working on this last night to get it prepped for today. And I was like, you know what? You're going to not be happy if you get too far. So I took my lunch break today to do that little bit of white in the box. So we did not have that. Oh, good. Somebody else's son also yells when gaming. I'll tell you what, he's gotten so much better and he hardly ever does it. But I went and said, hey, remember I said I was live? And he goes, oh, sorry. He definitely doesn't want everyone hearing him. So I was like, so don't do that again. Megan is stitching tonight. Yes. See, Danielle says the same thing. If you stitch the red first and then the white, you're going to get those little red fuzzies all over everything. I just promise you'll be so much happier if you don't do that. And then last week I was so on the struggle bus starting this stitch on black fabric. I haven't stitched on black in a little while and couldn't see anything. And you know what's funny? After stitching on this for multiple days last week, I felt like it got easier. I see a question. Carrie says, what is the loop method? Carrie, I will show you here in a minute when I load up my next needle. It is a fantastic way of starting so that you don't have little tails all over the back. It makes the back of your project look nice. So there's not going to be a lot of tails right here, but obviously I used fancy floss. I need to trim these up, by the way. So you're trying to kind of hide these back here, or you bury them. You bury the ends when you start your cross stitch. The loop method is just a much cleaner, easier, in my opinion, way to start. Now, I don't use the loop method with fancy floss, and so that's why I didn't do it with the white. Probably could have, but I didn't. Oh, good. Gammy says, just noticed, bought a different pattern, but it's going to keep stitching. Absolutely. And you got your spooky box that you won. Awesome. I love that those things are showing up. I was a little afraid with like holiday stuff. Karen says, not a fan of stitching on black. I know a lot of people aren't. It's probably not my personal preference, but I have to say, I absolutely love how it looks. And I find that the longer I do it, the easier it gets. It might just be me, though. And, oh, that's a great question. I should probably ask this. If you are stitching on something other than black and you're stitching this chart, let us know in the chat. Question, why no? Joyce and Christ, do you mean why not for fancy floss? You lose the variegation is what I've been told. Now, on the white, is there any variegation? I probably could have done the loop method, to be honest. So this chart really doesn't matter. Question, why don't you use, oh, another question for that. So fancy floss, and I don't have any of those stitches in here, or I'd show you. The quote unquote rule is you lose the variegation of the fancy floss, which accounts for the higher price point of fancy floss. You're buying it because you get the variegation. So you definitely want to, get the most bang for your buck there. And they just really recommend that you don't do the loop method with that, because with loop method, you're using one strand of floss and folding it in half. I'll show you here in a minute. And let me make sure I'm right. And with fancy floss, you need to use 2 strands for that variegation. So they say. I mean, I know some stitch like, 1/2 or 1/1. Kim says your eyes acclimate to the black fabric. I absolutely have found that to be true, because I have not had the issue I had last week since starting. But again, I think it's, well, I haven't stitched on black in a while. I've done chalkboard black and I thought that was fine. I didn't have any trouble with it, but man, black last week, I was like, oh, I can't see anything. But after I stitched on it for about a day, I thought it went pretty easy. The pattern is in the description. I have a link to it for the PDF download from Shannon Christine. I really do recommend the PDF download unless you just love a paper pattern. Then you can absolutely order paper patterns from your favorite shops. The PDF download, though, you get the color chart and the black and white chart, depending on what you like. Maybe on the black and white chart, you'd like to mark off what you've done or whatever. But with the PDF, if you need to blow it up big to see the chart, you can. I think it comes plenty big, but that is a benefit of a PDF chart. Let's see. Carrie, no problem. The replay will be here for anyone who wants to watch. Thank you so much for joining us for a little bit. Oh, I kind of should have stitched this one first. That's okay. I also think I cut my floss too short because I'm having to change it a lot, but I would rather it be a little shorter than what I like. For the loop method, it's too short. If I was using 2 strands, it'd be fine. I would rather it be too short than too long, because long just means I end up with knots. Do we have anyone who likes to have really, really long floss when you're stitching? Oh, yes, Eva. Isn't it amazing? Eva, hello, friend. It's so good to see you here. I saw the cute picture you posted with your little grandbaby. She is darling. Yeah, color charts are life-changing. I love them. When I go back to a black and white chart, it's painful. Shaman says, don't have a computer right now, so paper patterns for her. Yes, absolutely. And I know that there are some diehards out there who love, love, love paper patterns. Meredith has a great question. She says, do you use walnut shells in your pillow finishes? And if so, where to get them? So I haven't so far, but it's funny you ask. I just got some walnut shells. I ordered mine from Amazon. Primrose Cottage often sells them in their Etsy shop. I'm sure you can get them lots of places. But I did get mine from Amazon, and I'd be happy to add a link if you are interested, because I am going to be sewing up a little pillow this week. And I decided I wanted to try walnut shells. Just finishing the sign in teal, and it makes the letters pop. Oh, that's so fun. And the red makes it pop. I think the teal's beautiful. I hope no one thinks that I don't like the teal, because I really don't want anyone to think that. I literally only switched it because I say this all the time when I'm doing card making as well. I'm a red and white kind of girl. I do a red and white tree. I do red and white decorations, and I have red and white hot cocoa mugs and everything. And I just thought it would be really, really cute to match my decor. Jenny loves PDF patterns and blows it up on her iPad as she stitches. Yes. So if you are an iPad stitcher too, that's a great point. I know a lot of people stitch right from their iPad. Again, I have no iPad. I'm super lame. I've never had one, you guys. I probably should buy one. But a lot of people stitch right from their iPad, and you can blow it up super big, which is awesome. And I love color charts. I love when I don't have to like look at the I mean, they still have symbols, but I don't care. I just look at the color and go, that's what color it is, and I go for it. Primrose has several kinds of fillings for pillows. Yeah, I think they do too. I think they just did they do a tutorial or an Instagram or something with walnut shells? Lizard litter, which, why does that make me laugh? Every time I say lizard litter, it makes me laugh. And you can get that at a pet store, and it's kind of give you the same thing. Teresa's stitching hers in red too. Joyous and Christ, my hubby voted to keep the teal, so teal it is. That's awesome. I like that he had an opinion. Jeanette said, I'm so addicted to my iPad. Oh, good, Eva, you and me, friend. This is why we sit together at retreats. Neither one of us have iPads. Oh, is that all the dark? Awesome. I was getting short. Okay, I'm going to just run my needle underneath, and then I will show you the loop method for the lighter red color. Susie says you use a lot of aqua and teal in your card making, so we know you're not teal adverse. Absolutely not. And if it was going in my craft room, I would have totally left it, because I do actually have a lot of that color in here. It's my favorite, but for my holiday decor and decorating, oh, that's connected. That's why I need to snip up these ends. All right, so our lighter color here is the, oh, it's real hard to see through there. We're going to move that out of the way for a minute. 3801, so I'm just going to pull these off of my little floss flower. Megan says, as soon as I saw the teal, I knew I loved it. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab one strand of floss. Peggy said, glad to know that about an iPad she must try. Everyone who are iPad stitchers, help Peggy out because you guys are going to know all of the good info. So what you do, this is one strand. I folded it in half, which means the other end is going to have that loop. So that's why it's called the loop method. Where these two ends are, we're going to thread our needle like you normally would. Let's say you kind of think of it as if you had two separate strands. So totally like normal, except this end has a loop in it. So now let's go back to our fabric. Holly says he thought you were calling out someone's screen name as Lizard Litter. Oh my gosh, that's totally made my day. How funny would that be if someone's screen name was Lizard Litter? Okay, that's funny now. All right, so I'm going to figure out where I'm going to come in at, which I'm going to go right here. And we're going to come up, and I'm going to go make my first little leg of my cross. And when I come to the back of my fabric, we're going to just pull, 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 and see how we have this loop? I hope. There we go, a little bit better. We're going to put our needle through that loop, and we just pull it. And that is the back. No burying our stitches or anything like that. It's super clean. It is just right there. And then all you have to do is come back up and start your stitching. It's game changer, absolute game changer to do that loop method. I hope you guys could see it. If not, let me know. I'll do it again here in a minute. Oh, I love that. Of course, my screen. Paige says, both red and teal look beautiful. One of the best things about teal is it feels very January, so it can keep the sign up after the holidays. That is a fantastic point, and I really, really like that idea. So it could be very wintry instead of just holiday. That's a great idea. Peggy says, yes, please. Okay, I will for sure do it again. Tracy says, I'm putting binding on a baby quilt for her best friend's new grandbaby, and it's her favorite part of quilting. Oh my gosh, I should give you my quilt. It's not my favorite part. That's why I machine stitch mine on. And I pretty much grumbled the whole time, which is ridiculous. Oh, thank you. Is it Tanya? Says, I'm a little late, but love the red. Loop method is good. Just need to cut the floss longer. Yes, I totally needed to, but you know, I had already cut it because I kind of had forgotten, and I decided that's fine. Totally fine. I would rather it be a little too short because I have a tendency to knot everything if it gets long. Love the loop method, Susan says. And it does, Shimon says it makes your backs look neat and tidy. It really, really does. It makes them look so much nicer. So do we have any other stitch in hand stitchers here, or do you stitch in a hoop? Hello, everyone, just coming in. Oh, thank you, Rhonda. Hello, Cassie. I'm just going to, sometimes I just kind of skip around a little so I don't drag my stitch too much. I'll have to do a little filling in later. But I don't want to get too far down because I have a lot more white I need to do before I stitch any red around it. And let's be honest, we know we're not going to get that far. I am not going to get that far during the live. So I figured I was safe. Hoop, Cassie says. Stephanie stitches in hand. Oh, it's going fast now. Lynn stitches in hand. KM is it Lanigan? Does both. Hoop right now in hand, Shimon says. Oh, it's going fast. I love this. I love seeing how everybody does their stitching. And again, you know my thing. There's no right or wrong. Do whatever works best for you. The important thing is stitching. It should be fun and enjoyable and relaxing. It does take a little work. I learned to stitch in a hoop, so it took me a little bit. Rhonda says, are the lives every Tuesday at the same time? They are. They sure will. And I am probably going to schedule out the rest of them tomorrow, so they'll show up on your YouTube feed for the lives. Now, the last video, the finishing video, is going to be an edited video because I'm going to spray paint and we are not going to sit and watch paint dry. I guess we could always stitch something else in the meantime, but it could be a pretty long live. Shimon says, my backs look like battlefields until the loop method. Oh my goodness, I love that. That's hilarious. Q-snap, Katie says, keeps the fabric nice and tight. Yeah, I should have asked about Q-snaps too. I kind of think I looped them in, or put them with the hoop loop. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm probably getting a little punch happy. Janet says, my dad got into stamped cross stitch and his backs were as neat as the front. Oh, that's amazing. My fabric, Diane, is black Lugana. It is 28 count Jobelin black Lugana, and I believe there is a link in the description below. There should be anyway. Diane says, I'm a hooper. I love it. Cassie says, busy day die cutting my new felt ornaments to take on a scrappy retreat this weekend. Love the new Pashta design dies. Oh my gosh, me too. I haven't die cut those yet, but in the retreat that I'm teaching at next week, we're going to do a little felt project, and I die cut a massive amount of things last week out of felt. So I feel in fact, my arm hurt the next day. Yeah, Denise, my day will get better. You know, I have to remind myself it will pass. I had to have a little prayer time this morning to get my mind right. Because I was not. I was having myself just a teeny tiny little pity party. So I had myself a little prayer time. It's all good. It's going to be good. Diane, I am working with Chantel's 141 design. She's designing a backer board for this. In fact, this reminds me, I don't think I've got with her yet. Again, to see if she has come up with anything, and it will be available to purchase. She has an Etsy shop. They are inexpensive, unfinished wood pieces that you can finish yourself. And so, yes, she is definitely working that up. Still should be able to like get that figured out here, if we get it figured out in the next, week or so, so that you can order in plenty of time if you want to finish as well. Since this isn't going to finish till a little bit later here in November, I definitely, I reached out to her because I wanted it to be something that if you want to finish it like I am, you can. Please don't feel like you have to. You may finish yours however you want. There's always lots of great options like at Hobby Lobby or wherever. Lorna, question, when you're doing the single stitches around the border, do you travel across the squares in between or do you just stitch each individually? I stitch, well, okay. The white border, if it's the white border, I did, oh, come on, camera, zoom. I did half stitches all the way across, even with this fancy floss, because it's white and who cares, because I count it that way. I do 9 half crosses, and the 10th I full cross it, because it makes it easier to go back and count. I did that with this little red square too. It's 28 stitches, by the way. It's a 28 stitch square. because I wanted to make sure that it met up. But with a big border, I generally just do halves. If it's fancy floss, I usually will just do one whole cross at a time like you're supposed to. I hope that makes sense. Denise says Chantal's stuff is great. Yes, and her finishing videos. And she's getting ready. I think there's a live unboxing tomorrow evening. I want to say it's 6:30. I don't know if it's Eastern or Central time. Check out her Instagram. I'll pop a link down in the description below, or her YouTube, pardon me, for the live. She's having a mystery make along, and while that's sold out, she will be selling individual ornaments in her shop, but it isn't even so much that buying that exact finishing product. The inspiration, you can look through her shop and find all kinds of amazing things to finish, and she just sees things. Oh, I missed one right there. That's fine. That's fine. She sees things so just that I wouldn't see. And even she'll show you some things she's done where she's altered Hobby Lobby products into really amazing finishes. And I just find it super inspiring. You had a pity party for yourself. Yes. And I did have to have a come to Jesus meeting, Susie. And you know what? It was good. It needed to happen. And that's totally fine. Every once in a while that happens. Oh, good. A dog is making all kinds of good noise. Hey. Sorry, you guys. This video is going to have so much going on in the background. Stephanie just got her mystery ornament wood pieces today. Me too. And in my next Flosstube, I did work on that a little bit this morning. I planned what I am going to be stitching, I think, for at least some of them. And some of them are free charts, which I'm super excited about. But I will talk about that in next week's Flosstube. I'm very, very excited about the ornaments. Oh, Rhonda says, Nicole, I think she meant where there were 2 stitches when you skip 2 squares and then stitch 2 more. I will just kind of drag it. If that's what you're talking about, like, let's say I don't need to fill in this and I need to go fill in over here. That, to me, that's kind of a longer way to drag. Sometimes I'll just run my needle underneath these and stitch over here. I try not to like drag a super long thread, if that's what you're asking, just so my back stays somewhat neat and tidy. And I'm going to mute this real fast. Hold on. Oh, Lorna says, I meant the little individual stitches around the inside. Yes. I did skip and I did travel. These, yes. I stitched one full one at a time, went down. I'll show you the back. So it's this row right here. So yes, there is a, oh, come on. There is a bit of travel, but I was not going to stitch each one of those individually. If you did, my hat is off to you. I could not do it. Oh, nice. Jane says she loves the called for white on the black Ada she's using. That's perfect. Cassie and Karen, are you guys talking about Pashta Designs dies for felt die cutting? Oh, look, I messed up. If you are, the best way to find out when she restocks is to sign up for her newsletter. Where am I at? Oh, right there. Sign up for her newsletter and follow her on Instagram because she always posts and she always sends out a newsletter saying when she restocks. That way you will know when she has like the pumpkins back in stock or any of like the new Christmas kits. Tracy said, I watched Chantal at Hobby Lobby and she mentioned you a couple of times. Oh, she's so sweet. I really like her. We visited on the phone here a few weeks ago and she is just so much fun. And she really does have a gift for finishing, and it's very inspiring. I love, love, love it. Paige says, question, how do you store your extra floss, and do you always buy new floss with each new pattern, struggling with storage solutions? Okay, I do not have a great storage solution. I do not always buy new floss. I always check to see if I have the color first, and then I make a little list and I buy the colors that I don't have. Right now, I'm keeping Weeks, Dye Works, and Classic Color Works on rings, and because I don't have that much extra. Most of them are kitted up, but the extras I have, I keep on rings. DMC, I still have some on bobbins and some not, but I will say someone in my Facebook group posted their Pip and Chip, which I've heard of before, I've seen before. They have posted that they are storing their DMC on it, and you guys, I love it. Someone talked me out of buying it because it's a little pricey, but I love the storage solution because they do have, then you can kind of keep everything the same. And I think that's what I struggle with the most. I like everything to kind of be stored very similarly. So we shall see. I think I'm going to do that. Yes, Pashta Dyes. Yes. Definitely sign up for the newsletter. Yes, and Shaman, you're absolutely right. She has a really good point. It's easier to travel on dark fabric because you're not going to see the threads back behind. I kind of am in the habit of trying to hide the fact that I'm traveling, if at all possible, when I'm stitching on a lighter fabric, but she's right. On dark, you're not really going to see it. So if you need to travel, you do you. I feel like Tim Holtz, you do you. Oh, Denise, you went to the Housewives retreat in Indianapolis. Yes, she is definitely gifted. That's so fun. I'm so jealous. I want to go to a cross-stitch retreat. I really think that needs to be my goal this year, is to go to one. Who's with me? Maybe we should take our show on the road. Only no show. Let's just chat and stitch. I'm probably just going to finish up these couple here, and then I'm about out of floss. And then we'll kind of, if I missed any questions, drop them in the chat now and let me know. I will, I'll go ahead and thread another strand of this, doing the loop method for anyone who didn't see it before or wants to see it again. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Not really right there, but there we go. I like it. I think it's looking pretty. I just love seeing the design come to life, don't you guys? Oh, that would be so fun, Denise. I'll have to tell her. Retreat, Stitch Cruise. Yeah, we did. Shaman, I was going to say, didn't we talk about this one time, that Stitch Cruise is what we all want to do? For sure. You would need an iPad to take your show on the road. Hey, I've got a MacBook now. I bought a MacBook. I have a desktop and a MacBook, and I use the MacBook for my lives now because I was dragging my desktop in here because I don't keep it in this room. It works so much better. But you're right. I need an iPad. I'm in for a retreat. Question, Holly says, is it best to do border from top to bottom rather than bottom to top? Absolutely not. Whatever you like best. Sometimes I start at the bottom. Sometimes I start at the top. I have another design that I've been working on. I haven't got back to it in a little while. And I do that one from the bottom to the top because I feel like that works best for that chart. Okay, so I have my strand of floss. I'm going to show you the loop method again really quick. I'm going to even up these two ends. I folded my strand in half. And I've got my loop, so I'm going to take these two ends and we're just going to thread our needle. And yes, I have marker on my hand. No, I couldn't get it off before the live. I tried really hard too. I like used lotion afterwards, after I washed, thinking that would help take it off. No, it did not. All right, so I'm going to show you now. Let's just start up here. And I'll show you catching that loop again. Because if you blink, you miss it. It's super fast and easy. Verna says, question, stitching on Lugana on the first time, can you demonstrate how to count 3 blocks on pattern? How many holes do I count on Lugana? 2 over 2. Yes. Let me finish the loop. So here's that loop on the back. You take your needle and go, whoops. Well, in theory, I probably should have shortened it more. And you just pull it nice and tight. Okay, so counting. I hope you can see. So this is my X, and I stitched 2 over 2. You wouldn't have to. If you stitch 1 over 1, it's going to be super, super tiny. I stitched 2 over 2, which is going to be this 28 count is the equivalent of a 14 count Aida. So I always, like if I needed to, I kind of have a feel for it now, but I went in this one. So then this is the one right next to it. And we're skipping that one and going to the next one. I hope that is what you wanted to know. Julie says, I have purple marker on my hand every day after school. Thank you. Hand sanitizer. Yes. Oh, I should have gone and got that. Dang it. I have some even. Oh, I am a true crafter, Karen, for sure. Yeah, Stephanie, you count the threads and not the holes. On an even weave, you can really kind of count the holes. On a linen, you definitely need to count your threads. I am just skipping one, and on black, it is going to be, I think it's kind of hard to show on camera. And let's say I don't need to here, but let's say I needed to. So you can always, especially if you're just starting, take your needle and say I need to go down 3. So I need to go, there's 1, skip this one, that would be 2, skip that one, and that would be 3. And you end up 3 down from where you were, if that was where my next stitch was going to go. That's a kind of an easy way to count down if you need to. And sometimes, I mean, I still do that too. I just kind of take my needle and just use it to help me count until you get a feel for it. You do eventually get a feel for the fabric. Okay, I am going to stop stitching and see if I have any more questions and probably turn the camera around. If there's anything else, if you have something I missed, please let me know. Because I tried, but if I missed it, I definitely want to answer you. Cheryl, thank you. That's a great way. There is 1 hole between 2 over 2. So you're always going to skip 1. Like this one there's 1 right here in between. Whoops. So I will be skipping it. And I kind of came back the other way, but my stitches are all going the right way. So I'm skipping this one just to finish out that row. I tend to like to finish out the row. Just 1 more, right? That's how we end up staying up too late, is the just one more row. Okay, let's close out that window and let's flip it around. Pip and Chip, Janet, is a company that sells like these little floss keepers. It's a floss keeper system. It's beautiful. And if I'm wrong, you guys let me know. I feel like they're a UK-based company. Am I correct? Karen says, you lifted my Sunny Days Ahead Slimline card. Oh, fun. I love that one. Your mom had hip surgery. Well, I'm sending her my thoughts and prayers, and I hope that she heals quickly. Oh, Teresa says some people count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Absolutely. Whatever works best. Oh, Lynn, I did miss it. You're welcome for your stamp set. I'm glad it arrived, and I'm glad you love it. It is a company in England that makes the storage stuff. Okay, I thought I was correct about that. I'm super... You guys, I spent some time looking at it before we went live. Like, I got my stuff all ready, and I'm like, oh, let's see what's going on in the Facebook group. And someone posted that they bought that system, and they showed pictures, and I'm like, oh, I need it. Oh, no. Christy just got her Halo Glow today. Oh, using it right now. It's so wonderful. I would never be able to stitch this, especially like now that it's dark and stuff outside, and it just makes the room darker. And of course, I have lights, studio lights that I use and stuff for filming. So it would just be hard. Oh, Donna, you have it. Donna, I'm jealous. Yeah, I need it, don't I? Don't answer that. Oh, and Marilyn's waiting on her order right now. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm going to have serious FOMO, and I'm going to need it. I can tell already. The boxes are IKEA that the Pip and Chip fit in, which I have heard, but they look so pretty. So it's a beautiful way of storing it, but I also love that it's uniform, that it all looks the same. Odin is licking my ankle. What do you think that's about? Santa brings you an iPad and a storage system. Thank you, Jeanette. I love that you have given Santa permission for that. Donna says yes. I love it. Did I miss anybody else's question? How's everybody doing? I guess I didn't even ask this earlier. Did everyone finish week 1, or how are you coming on week 1? Did you start week 2? I always love seeing. Our last stitch along was a little bit, it was quite a bit smaller stitch. And so a lot of people worked really, really far ahead. And I love seeing how everybody's coming. Someone in the Facebook group, and if you're, forgive me, I can't remember who it is, has stitched a bunch of this chart. And I am so, so impressed. Oh, Robin, it's so fun. It's fun having people to stitch with. So I'm so glad you're here. Shaman says, wait a few weeks and someone will create a cheaper version. Yeah. Lorna, let's see. I gave up with magnifying. I found it too restrictive, and I got a pair of really strong reading glasses. Oh, that's a great... Yes, I know a lot of people do that too. Finished week 1, frogging again, struggle bus. Sometimes you just got to put it aside for a little bit if you're on the struggle bus. Traveling. Oh, Anita, thank you. The question about traveling. Traveling it's basically when you're moving, like if you move from here to here, you're not stitching right next to each other. Does that make sense? So on the back of your fabric, you're going to see kind of a long thread if you travel a really long ways. That's what traveling is. Yes, I only moved down to what I was doing tonight because I wanted to talk about my floss color changes. My goal this evening while I'm relaxing is to get the old-fashioned text done and the little border underneath it, and then move myself down. That's kind of what I'm hoping for in the next night or two. Oh, good. Danielle was running behind, but she got her light board and finished week 1 and is excited to stitch week 2. I love that. Karen is ahead. That is amazing. I was a little worried. I was hoping I broke down the chart. You know, I second guess, not double guess. I second guess myself. And I was like, I hope I didn't put too much. I knew the border was a lot for the first week. Borders are not the most fun to stitch, but I think especially for this, it's really going to make it beautiful. Shaman says, when her pattern arrives, she'll be stitching like mad to catch up. You'll get it. You'll get it. Question, Diane says, could you tell me the red color numbers again? Absolutely. They are these two right here. So 321 and 3801. And I will put this in the description. I'm so sorry I forgot, you guys. I'm totally meant to. 321 and 3801 is what I decided to go with. Julie has parent-teacher conferences, and she's the teacher and has to be there. Thank you for the giggle. Ethan has conferences at the end of this week, so I feel that, although his are student-led, he's older and stuff, so she doesn't think her principal will find her humorous if she skips out for a live stitch. Probably not. That's okay. You can catch us on the replay, and hopefully you can see us the next week then. Shaman, I will do that poll next week for cruise versus a retreat. That is a great poll question, and since we're kind of at the end here, I don't want to do it now. I will start that next week. That is a fantastic poll question. Jenny says, I have old and fast done. I love it. Oh, good. I'm so glad you're enjoying it, Hannah. Oh, and Paper Renee was at a scrapbook convention last weekend and didn't quite finish week 1 up. Well, of course not. You were off having fun. That's awesome. Oh, I love seeing how everybody's doing. Cheryl has a great point, and this is something I didn't explain very well. Traveling works best when the long piece can be buried by other colors. When you have lots of small stuff standing on its own, traveling can keep down on long tails or stitches coming undone. That is a super fantastic point. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, thank you so much, Cheryl. That's so nice. Teresa is reminding everyone for a thumbs up. So yes, please remember to thumbs up, like the video, all of the good things. Christy says, I'm a retired teacher and don't miss conferences. Don't miss conferences. We want you to be able to keep coming back here. So it's okay if you have to miss a week. And Sandy's going to a scrapbooking Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's so awesome. You know what? Sometimes you do get tired of the white and you have to move on. I did try to do it so the first week's a lot of white. This week we've got a little bit of color. This is a lot of white on this chart, and I know it is, but it is spectacular when finished. It's just not the most fun to stitch. Next week is going to be a lot of white because that's hot cocoa. Before we move down, because the bottom part of the chart definitely has a lot more color to it. So if we can just get there, then we'll be clicking right along with all of the colors. Oh, that's so awesome. Thanks, Sandy. How are you doing, friend? I haven't seen you in a while. Karen, I don't know if it's furniture that the Pip and Chip fit into, but I'm sure that the box, it's a storage box, and that the floss chips fit into, but I'm sure it does fit their IKEA furniture because everything goes together. I'm just not sure what. So if somebody knows, let us know. Everybody has got like some craft shows or fun craft things going on. So next week, I will be here Tuesday, but Wednesday I am getting up and I don't have to travel far. It's only about 40 minutes away. We're having, a couple of my friends and I are doing a retreat for friends. We've got about 16 guests flying in. It's at a house. It's called the Craft House. It's the Rainbow Craft House. If Eva's still here or anyone who's been there, you know. Or Karen, Karen, I didn't even see, are you here tonight? But it is really fun and I'm excited. I'm going to be teaching 2 classes and also have a felt project for everybody. And then Lori and Lori, it's the Loris and then Nichol, are also have some fun projects, and it's just going to be a really great week and weekend, and I'm super excited. Lots of last minute work going on this week, and we have our little text thread. It's going like crazy. Okay, Michelle says she thinks the Pip and Chip fits in the Bisley cabinets. Oh, from the Container Store. Oh, cool. Cheryl's doing the bottom first, so lots of color. Yes, Cheryl, I've seen yours, and I'm like, let's just get this white done real fast so I can get down there. Yes. Oh, and the brown was more tedious than the white. That's interesting. And Cheryl did a quilt shop hop yesterday, and I'm jealous of that too. I'm going to invite myself onto that next time. Denise says, what city in Kansas is it in? Newton. Karen, hello, my friend. Just stitching away. That's okay. It's hard to chat, to type, and chat at the same time. Absolutely. Yes, Peggy's seen pictures of the craft house retreat. It's fun. It's really fun. I'm excited about it, but I'm a little nervous. Haven't taught anything well, I guess I teach all the time. I haven't taught in forever. I teach videos all the time, but teaching in person, it's going to be fun. It's exciting. Okay. Yes. Bye, Karen. Thanks for joining us. I am going to sign off. I hope everyone has a great week and get some stitches in. Again, next week, we're going to be doing the big hot cocoa. It's a lot of white. I am going to have a little tip for you. I already have my little note. I'm going to do the poll that Shimon suggested next week for whether we should do a cruise or a retreat. I'm going to talk to Karen and I'm going to get her advice on what she thinks. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for spending some of your evening with me, or morning as the case may be, no matter, depending on where you're at in the world. I hope you guys are enjoying this stitch. Please join the Facebook group if you haven't already. Lots of great inspiration. If you're sharing your stitching, and please do share your stitching on social media, use hashtag oldfashionedsal, SAL. And SAL means stitch along, if you didn't know. And that way we can follow the hashtag on social. We can comment on each other's work and stuff. I've seen just a few so far, and of course we're just getting started. But I would love to repost your stitching. So definitely post on social. Mrs. Darcy, thank you so much for the super chat. That is so sweet of you. Okay, you guys, I love spending the evening. We'll see you next week, and I'll see you the week after too. You guys are bookending my big crafty weekend. I'll be stitching away in the evenings while everybody's making cards. I'll be probably stitching. Thank you guys. I will see you. If you're going to join me for card making, I'll see you Friday. Otherwise, I will see you next Tuesday night. Bye.